You're listening to Bizarre Buffet, a podcast of all-you-can-eat weird. I'm your host, Mark Torriello.
I'm Jen Wilson.
And I'm Mark Bluestein.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
When we first went in, one of the people said, "Who are you?" And Tex said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Hey everyone, you're listening to episode 24 of Bizarre Buffet. And
for $5, you can see my feet.
For $5, you can see Jennifer Wilson's feet and
for
toes.
$5.01, you could see my feet.
I would recommend not paying the extra 1 cent. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But 24, episode 24.
Episode 24.
Do you remember
For
when you were
us.
24?
Do I remember when I was 24? Not really. I don't know what I was doing.
Part of me thinks it was a good year. I think it was a
Does
good
it
year.
feel like it was a good year?
Yeah,
All right, we'll go with that.
we'll go with it.
I'm fine with that.
When I was 24, I drank a lot of PBR beer and Yingling.
Oh,
And I was
cheap
a lot
date,
skinnier. Yeah, I was a cheap date.
Wow.
So while we're talking about the past, I would love to know, did you ever collect anything
Yes, actually, I
in
have.
your youth
Tell us,
or
Jennifer
currently?
Wilson.
Well, I have a bunch of things I collected, but the one thing I remember, do you ever remember whenever you would go to an amusement park or you would stop at a rest stop and you would put like a coin into a machine and then you would crank it and the coin would stretch out and there'd be a little
Yeah.
design? Yeah, I used to do those.
Those are so
Ooh.
cute.
Yeah, you put like a penny or a quarter.
Yeah.
When I went to Disney when I was a kid, I did that at like every little stop that you could stop at. And I remember having a little book that actually, when you opened it, you had little slots to put the coins in.
That's so fucking cute.
But then I got rid of it because I was like, what am I going to do with those? I'm
Oh,
just going to hold on to it and just
all these stretched out pennies. What am I going to do with these? Well, this is like a quick side note, and then we'll move on. But like, do you know that I know somebody who went to Disney jail? Speaking of Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
What is Disney
Yeah,
jail?
what's Disney jail? Like you.
Well,
I know someone who's like, I think he told me his aunt and uncle like banged on one of the rides because it got.
did they go to Disney jail?
Probably. No, I just know that they were banned from Disney for life. It was like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Walt Disney came from the grave and was like, "You're bad."
I guess the ride just like stopped and they were stuck.
Oh, it broke
And
down.
then they just started banging and got caught. And...
Oh
Ooh,
God,
sounds like a
the
good time.
Disney police. Well,
But yeah, what is Disney jail? Please tell us.
so I feel like I can mention her name, but but I won't. She is an avid listener. I work with her, and
Oh, I think I know who it is. But
yeah, but so we're gonna say hello secretly. But she told me that her sister and a friend of hers ended up going to Disney jail because they ended up buying Disney tickets at this random place, and they were,
Okay.
and I guess it was kind of like, you know how Ticketmaster back in the day, you would buy like fake concert tickets by
like
accident.
scalpers,
Yeah,
ticket
exactly.
scalpers.
Yes, exactly. So her and her friend bought fake tickets unbeknownst to them. So they went to Disney jail when
Or
they got
so
there.
they say.
And they were like, "How did you get these?" They were like, "What did you do? What are you trying to do?" They were like really intense about it.
Oh my God.
And they,
as if Disney doesn't get like $1 billion a minute.
I know, and they interrogated them like no joke. And then after all that was said and done, and they were like, "I guess they're innocent," they gave them like a free lunch at Disney. And I mean, my question as well.
But wait, I want to know what Disney jail is. Do they put you behind bars and there's like Mickey Mouse and Minnie and the gang on the wall, like plastered on the wall in the back?
I hope so. I hope
It's
it's
like a gift shop when you leave the prison.
If any, yeah, they take a picture of you in the cell and then you go to
like-
the gift shop and
like-
it's like, oh look, there I am in the prison cell.
exactly. They're like, "You almost went to jail, you son of a bitch."
Unpopular opinion, I don't get the Disney shit.
I don't either.
I never, ever
No, I don't either.
got
I mean,
into it. I'm
you know-
sorry.
You know, I
We're going to lose a lot of listeners.
We are, and you know what? Listen, everybody. This is your mother speaking, or father, depending on your preference. You know, don't listen to Mark. Disney is fine. We also don't want Walt coming after us.
I mean, but then I would go to the Star Wars situation.
Oh, but that's
same.
Oh my
amazing. The Star Wars world is amazing.
Can I tell you guys a really sad story
I cheated
about
on
Disney?
Boba Fett.
Can I tell you? Can I bring everybody's mood down real
Yeah.
quick? I never went to Disney, and I was supposed to as a child, but my dad died, and we never went. That's a true story.
Okay.
Okay.
So sorry.
God, that brought the mood down really
Yeah.
quick, but that's what I'm good at. I'm relatable.
You are relatable.
Yeah.
What you could be more relatable by sharing something you have collected over the
Okay.
years.
So aside from scalps, of my enemies, Mark and I, well, I mean, now that we've been living together for a long time, the collection has grown, but I mean, I guess it started out with vinyl records, and I know you collect records too.
I sure do. Which, by
right?
the way, I'm actually in the hunt for a nice vinyl table with
Ooh.
something on the bottom to store my records. I want to be able to display them.
All right.
So
So,
anyone that's
suggestions, anybody?
suggestions or
Yeah.
anyone selling any furniture, let us know.
Yeah, let us
Facebook
know.
Market.
Listen, we are avid Facebook marketers here.
We sure are.
I've found most of the things on Facebook Marketplace, but aside from that, like we like collecting weird lamps, DVDs.
Your serial killer.
Oh yeah,
Art.
serial killer related art.
Postmodern furniture.
Yes, postmodern furniture, but on a budget. We're not those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
Well, quite a few things. I did dabble in Pokemon cards where I had a holographic Charizard, but it wasn't first edition, so it's worth nothing. But
Were they banned from your school?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but
Well, he went to a Christ
I
school,
went
so
to a
everything was
stupid
banned
Catholic
there.
school.
Of course it was.
Did you go to a Christ school?
For a hot second.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
think I went from like pre-K to second or third grade, and then my mom was like, "This is bullshit. There's a public school around the corner.
There's a public school around the corner.
I am
Let's
not
do
paying this fucking money anymore."
But I think more interestingly is I collected Pogs.
Oh yes, Pogs.
I had
Pogs? I never
had
knew.
so many. I had a whole album of Pogs, and
You still have them.
I
don't
still
you?
have it.
You're
And
a Pog, Mark Bluestein.
I'm not a Pog. You're a Pog. You're a Jenga.
But
I
the
am a
coolest,
Jenga.
the coolest
I love
Pogs
Jenga.
that I had were, you remember the books Goosebumps?
Yes, Gersperms.
Well, the Pogs were the different Goosebump book covers.
Yes.
oh,
She was so dark at age
was.
9.
So we're talking about collecting and collectibles. So,
Yeah.
Mark, tell us a little bit about this special guest that we have today.
yeah, Mark.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So our special guest today, his name is Joshua Matthews, and he is an avid doll collector, and he's been collecting dolls for his entire lifetime.
I feel like he's going to have to advise me because I have a Shirley Temple doll in a trunk with all of her outfits from every movie, and I don't know what to do with it.
Oh my God. I bet he would totally
He
know.
absolutely will be
Oh,
able to.
he's going to be the right person to
That's
talk
so
to.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, Joshua also has a podcast called A Man and His Dolls, and it's available on Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, a lot of the platforms that Bizarre Buffet is
Yeah,
on.
wherever you listen to us, pretty much.
Yeah.
And his Instagram handle is Josh Matthews 3867. So if you go on his Instagram, you can actually see photos of his doll collection. He posts videos. One thing that I thought was really interesting is that he has a model head of Brooke Shields.
Oh.
And what you do, it was like manufactured. And what you do is that I guess you can like play with the hair and give like Brooke Shields like different makeover things. Aside from that, fun little fact about Josh, his first word was Doll.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the Helen Keller movie. What's
When
that?
she signs Doll.
Miracle Worker.
Miracle
The
Worker when Anne
Worker.
Sullivan does the
DOLL.
Doll.
Also
Because-
CUP, cup.
And a lot of people don't know who Helen Keller is, which is like an abomination because she's like iconic.
Who doesn't know who Helen Keller is?
For the millennials out there listening that don't know, Helen Keller was a woman that was born blind and deaf, and she like overcame a lot of obstacles. She was an activist, and she learned how to speak using like the vibrations in her throat,
Braille,
Braille.
sign language.
and she met President Roosevelt. There's like pictures of her with him.
Wow.
The movie
So-
Miracle Worker was very good.
Yeah.
Hattie Duke as Helen Keller.
Yes, and Anne Bancroft, who was also in a film Lipstick, and she defended rape victims.
Okay. Well, Joshua's collection of dolls also ranges from dolls that were from the 1800s to like that 1950s, 1960s, like Maude, Barbie situation to current dolls that are currently in production now. And aside from doll collecting, he also restores and repairs dolls, and he has a long list of celebrity clients. And I know personally that he does dabble in some unusual doll situations,
Oh.
which he's going to share with us.
I am so
I'm so excited.
excited for this. Now, I'm so glad that he's joining us because I remember he actually, his podcast, he followed us on Anchor and, I think we became friends on Instagram and I was like, this guy is so cool. I love anyone who has a direct, this is my passion. I love this at whatever emotion or thing it evokes. So I think it's really cool that he's joining us to talk about all of it.
Yeah, and I don't know much about dolls. I listened to an episode of his podcast.
I always
and
wanted
was-
them as a little boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you should start. But
Maybe your
Well,
birthday
maybe
is
I
coming
will.
up in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
so you never know.
All right,
get
well,
a
you should
dolly.
consult Josh and get me something good because I don't want no fucking.
I'm gonna look
broke-ass.
now as we talk.
But I found his podcast to be really interesting and informative. And, I don't know anything about dolls or collecting dolls, but it really held my attention for the whole episode. So,
Yeah, we put it on and we were listening to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is very engaging as a person. And you can tell that the passion and knowledge is there. And when I hear him or when I heard him speaking of dolls and, collecting or the process of styling them, I was like, wow, I can relate to the things he's saying because I think everyone, or at least a lot of people, have something that they're very passionate about that they could go on about for a long time, whether it's video games or collecting dolls or movies or posters.
So everyone, welcome Josh to Bizarre Buffet.
Hello,
Hey.
Josh.
Gosh.
Hi.
Hello.
So, Josh, I would love to hear, about your collection of dolls right now and what it consists of and kind of how long you've been in the game for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been collecting, honestly, my entire life. And people think, oh, you can't be collecting all your life. But it's actually in my baby book that my first word was doll, not mom or dad, much to the disappointment of my parents.
That's awesome.
It's okay. My first word was Elmo.
Aw. I remember when the first Elmo doll came out. I'm 42.
I do
worked
have
at-
an original Elmo doll myself. So yes.
Is it the tickle one or is it the normal one?
Oh, it's a normal one. It's just not. It's like way before Tickle Me Elmo. This was a 1990 Elmo.
OG Elmo?
Oh, that's like the first
Yep.
Elmo.
Oh.
Yeah, before the controversy.
Exactly. Yes, the controversy.
I don't know.
Yes.
I wanted Elmo to tickle me, but he didn't.
So, you say that you've been collecting dolls since it was in your baby book.
Yeah, I've had dolls my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been I've always taken care of them and restored and repaired them. I've only been doing it as a small home business for 25 plus years.
Okay.
And
cool.
I love taking care of things and taking something that looks like a complete dumpster fire and then bringing it back to looking as close to as new or as perfect as I can. It's just a lot of fun for me to see it like come back to life. It scares most people, but
No,
I think that's beautiful.
I think that's really awesome because I've heard of doll hospitals before, like places where you can actually take your dolls to be restored.
So that's kind of
a dying thing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But that's kind of, I mean, what you've been doing for 25 years. Like you are a one man, you know, it's your show. You are the doll hospital for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, most doll hospitals that were around were usually run by were just a mom and pop shop. They were run usually by like a husband and wife team or just one person.
Mm-hmm.
I know of one main doll hospital that's still in full functioning, and that's in New York, and it's one of the oldest in the country.
Wow.
They've been doing doll repair since the 1940s.
Whoa.
Well, speaking of like old time stuff, I know a lot of your dolls, you said that they stem from like the 1800s to current.
Yes.
So can you walk us through maybe some of like the highlights in your collection that are your favorite?
Yeah, like what are the things that like you would, I don't know, cut somebody if they ever came near it? You know, like what are the things that are your like, this is coveted, like I would never sell it, I would never do anything?
Well, that is that I can answer real quick. I have one set of dolls, and they actually have no monetary value to anyone but me. But they're a pair of Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls that my mom and I made together when I was little.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
She made them from a pattern, and I got to pick out everything about them. So they're not traditional. Like my Raggedy Ann has dark, like burnt orange hair, and Andy has brown hair. And me and my mom made them, like I helped her pick everything out, and they've gone everywhere with me, and they are my favorite things in my collection. And those are things that people touch or get near. I'm like, no.
Yeah, like get your paws away.
They've been
exactly.
Those dolls have been socially distanced since before COVID.
Yeah, they've been.
they're at a point now because they were so well loved as a kid. Like I can't repair them because if I do anything to them, they'll just disintegrate. So they just sit on a shelf, and I adore them.
That's wonderful, because I think also like with collecting, or when people hear that someone is a collector, whether it be, I mean, dolls or old telephones or like, you know, 1,000,001 different things, you know, it always kind of goes to like, oh, something that's valuable, and like in terms of like monetary value, or, you know, that seems to be the key thing. So it's really nice to hear.
A lot of collectors only collect because they think it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million off of this.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've done evaluations for people's collections, and it's always the same thing. I bought all of these happy holiday Barbies for Mike so I can sell them when my daughter goes to college. And to find out there's only two holiday Barbies that are worth any money anymore. No. The rest of them.
Well,
and they're like, you don't have them, lady.
Well, can I tell you? Can I tell you? So my grandmother was a huge hoarder, and she used to just like buy shit over the years and just have boxes and boxes put aside. And every year she would just like pull shit out.
Sounds like me.
And like whatever she felt like giving us for Christmas, she would give us for Christmas. Well, when she passed away, like 10 or so years ago, we were like going through her house, and I found there were 3 boxes with my name on it, and they were all porcelain dolls that I was like kind of stuck with. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with these? And they were dolls. They were like the 13 original Colony dolls. I don't even know what.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Each doll was from an original Colony.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard of
Yeah, those are Franklin Mints. They were Franklin Mint dolls from 1985 to 1987 is when they made those.
Oh, Josh, you are a plethora.
Wow.
I love you to death already.
I think I got rid of them at a garage sale.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're almost worth nothing.
Oh, there you go. So the garage sale was appropriate, Jen, I think, in your case.
The only porcelain dolls that are worth anything anymore are like actual antique dolls from the 17 and 1800s all the way up to like 1920. those are the porcelain dolls that are actually worth anything.
So from like hoop skirts to flappers.
Skirts to flappers.
So Josh, about how many dolls do you think exist in your current collection?
Oh God.
A rough estimate is fine.
Rough estimate.
Honestly, probably over 1,000.
Wow.
Yes.
That is awesome.
I have very few on display because I like to have them in my room,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like that also creeps people out to no end. And I go through phases. Like I change things out because like anybody with any collection, you get kind of bored with certain things. So I swap things out. Like right now, my bedroom is filled with nothing but heads, styling heads, and.
What's your most like notable doll that's being displayed in your room right now?
Oh, gosh.
That just the one that just sticks out to you.
That sticks out the most to me are probably my Palatoy. They're called Girls World styling heads. They're from England and made by a company called Palatoy. And they were never sold in the U.S. I had to buy them all from Europe. And they tried to make them to be like proper, like educational tools for little girls, except they came with like wild
Were they like
oil-based
American Girl
makeup.
dolls?
Oh no, these were supposed to be girls, like the heads are supposed to be like the ages of a 16 to 21-year-old girl. They're almost full-size human heads. You could pull their hair and their hair would grow so you could style it. And I have 4 of the basic versions and the rare brunette one. Those are my favorites.
Wow.
And then my other favorites are my antique actual cosmetology heads.
Oh my God. How old are the antique ones?
The oldest one I have is 100 years old. She's from 1920. I think, 1920. She came out in 1919.
Wow.
And she's all wood and she has human hair.
Sounds like me. All wood and human.
My favorite.
That's so cool. And when I was in cosmetology school, we created, and now this is a throwback, we created a MySpace page for the mannequin. No, I'm being totally 1,000% serious. Her name was like on the mannequin. It was called Debbie Mannequin. So
I have one of those.
See, Josh knows.
Yes.
So Deborah Mannequin had a MySpace page, and now I don't know. And the guy that was in my class, his name was Tom. Tom created buttons for her, and it said Debbie, like in kind of like, block print, and it was just like a very black and white kind of Dietrich look, But I love Debbie, and I have an affinity for her because she had a MySpace.
Every time I hear Debbie, I can't help but think of Addams Family Values.
Oh my God.
She's one of my favorite people. Joan Cusack and that character.
Oh,
Oh
she's
my
great.
God. She is the best.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So, Josh, we're gonna get a little more into like the bizarre right now.
Okay.
The bizarre chapter, right? Because it's Bizarre Buffet. So, Josh, I would love to hear about, the most unusual doll situation that you've encountered, whether it's a doll restoration that you've done or a doll that you've come across and, collecting. What would be like the most unusual like doll situation you've come across?
Any
Well, my
Annabelles
favorite-
or Robert the Dolls?
Yeah.
Chucky's.
Well, convenient enough, I have kind of an Annabelle situation of a doll I restored probably 10 or so years ago.
Ooh.
And I tell this story to a lot of people and it freaks them out. So 10 or so years ago, I think it might be longer, I was contacted online via my old Facebook page. This woman in New Orleans, she contacted me wanting me to restore this antique Armand Marseille porcelain doll. She said it was really rough shape because the doll had miraculously survived Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I'll do what I can. And she's like, great. She sent her to me. I got her. It was a complete disaster. I mean, her hair was all off. She had a lot of water damage.
Oh.
And so I had to do a deep clean and clean it. And the hair all those antique dolls like that all had human hair wigs. And I had to use the hair that they had sent to make her a new wig. And I was fine with that. And I was like, this is going to be, fun. And, I'll make a little money off of it. And so I got it. I was working on it. She was a nightmare to work on. But then I finished her and I contacted the person and they dead silence.
Oh no.
And nothing.
Oh my God.
So probably about a month after I had finished her and I've been waiting, I start noticing that I was with my ex at the time, and he and I started noticing things that in the house, we would hear things. We would never see anything, but we would hear things that we hadn't heard before.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, this is weird. and after a while, we started finding things, and I even documented this on my old Facebook page. We would find on our TV stand little tiny footprints.
No, stop it.
They weren't doll footprints.
Oh.
They were like child footprints.
Oh, God, even creepier.
So I'm like, okay. And he started freaking out. He was just like, I think it's that doll. You need to get her the hell out of this house. I was like, I'm trying to.
Like, I'm trying to get paid. I'm waiting.
Yeah. And so we go to Vegas for a weekend, and we came back, and our entire house was trashed. We thought we were robbed.
No.
Yeah, we weren't. Like all of our magazines and books were shredded, torn to pieces, thrown everywhere. Just there was a mess. It was horrible, and the police couldn't find anything or do anything. And then we go to my doll room. I used to have a doll room, and everything in the doll room, all the dolls' heads were turned completely backwards. And or they weren't turned backwards. The doll was turned backwards.
Oh my God.
So I'm just like, yeah, I think it's the doll. So I again try to contact the lady, and still nothing. I contacted her. I sent her instant messages. I had her home address, as I think the return label. I tried emailing her, sent her an actual letter, and I wasn't going to send the doll back because I put all this work into it and I wanted to get paid.
Hell yeah, I don't blame you.
So it kept on happening, and I finally just took a stance. And I said, look, you cannot keep wrecking things in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. You can hang out in my doll room if you want, but other than that, stop it.
Yeah.
If not, I'm gonna throw out the doll. And because if ever a doll that's haunted, it's always something attached to the doll. Whenever people tell me that there's haunted dolls, I'm like, it's not the doll, it's whatever attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that went on. I had her for about 2 months.
Oh my God.
We would hear things and see things.
Worst
After
roommate
about 2
ever.
months, yeah. So after about 2 months, the daughter of the woman who sent me the doll contacted me.
Okay.
And she was beyond apologetic. And she's like, my mother sent her to have you repair it. But after a while, we decided just to leave it because now this is where it gets bizarre and creepy.
Oh God.
Turns out the doll did survive Hurricane Katrina, but they neglected to tell me that the doll was buried with one of their distant relatives who died when she was 4.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Jesus.
So
They had to move.
So did they exhume the body to get the doll out?
No, what had happened is when the Hurricane Katrina hit, a lot of the graves in New Orleans, since they're all above ground, flooded, and they had to rebuild the crypt that their family crypt. And they pulled the doll out and like, we should have it restored and keep it on the family mantle.
Great
Oh,
idea.
wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
They didn't
really.
tell-
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I mean, how cool is that, right? It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. On with the show. Yeah.
And the part that still makes me a little bit nauseous to this day is the hair I used was the hair from the little dead girl. They didn't tell me that either. So I was sitting there having to make this wig out of a dead little girl's hair.
But you didn't realize it was a dead girl's hair?
No, he wouldn't have known.
I had no idea. They didn't tell me anything. They just said that it was a family heirloom. They wanted it restored.
It was truly a family heirloom.
Oh my God.
Wow. Down to the hair.
So what was the final outcome? Did you send the doll back?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm like, well, you're going to take the doll back. And she's like, well, I understand. I'm like, plus you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
You're going to pay me extra because this is what happened at my house. And she's like, we had a feeling the doll was haunted because our dogs would never stop barking at it.
Like,
they wouldn't come in the same room.
Like, excuse me. You thought it was a good idea to send it to me, you evildoers? God.
I told the girl flat out, I'm like, your mom is a real piece of work. I'm like, she's a real bitch. I'm like, how dare you?
Absolutely. I mean, really, it's like, listen, you don't drop your annoying child off to somebody here like, oh, they're really good. Here, deal with them. You know,
I mean, everything was cleaned and sanitized, but when I'm working, like if I'm making a wig, I'm using both hands, and sometimes I have to like hold hair in my lips while I'm working on hair.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
oh, Josh, I'm sorry. I know.
So what went from being a $300 repair job went to $1,000.
Hell yeah!
Because I'm like, you're going to pay me for pain and suffering because of what I went through. Yeah, they were totally understanding. I'm like, good.
Yes.
Understand that.
Absolutely. Please understand that put me in a really interesting position here.
I mean, I'm
not fun for me.
I'm a little bit morbid, so I'm going to ask this question. But like, do you know how long the doll was in the grave for?
Oh yeah, the little girl I do know died in 1904.
Oh shit. Oh
really
wow.
Is an Annabelle situation.
Oh damn.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense. The doll was, taken from the grave and her hair was in it. So I would assume that would be justification for a haunted situation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Really?
I love creepy dolls, though.
Well, they love you.
They do.
People tell me all the time, like, aren't you afraid of having all those eyes looking at you? Aren't you afraid they're going to uprise and kill you? And I always tell them, like, no, because I'm the one who takes care of them.
Absolutely. But like, listen, they don't go for the person who loves them and actually looks after them. Are you kidding me? Exactly. Like, I'm the lighthouse keeper for them. They better not come for me. God.
When Annabelle gets her makeover, she's going to you, girl.
Absolutely.
I got to see the real Annabelle doll, the actual Raggedy Ann doll. I got to years and years ago. I got to go to the Warren Museum.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I got to see her in person.
Wow,
it was so cool. It's hard to describe that place because there is such a heaviness when you walk into that room. I mean, it really does. It feels like you're walking into like a sauna that's been running at full blast. It's not so much the heat; it's just like that intense pressure.
Yeah. No, I totally
so
get that. I totally get that. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything else that you might have encountered that's like strange and unusual?
Well, I think the weirdest thing I've like outside of the haunted Armand Mercier doll, I think the weirdest doll anyone's ever contacted me about restoring was from the Museum of Tolerance. Oh. They had not so much a doll, but it was an article of clothing, a vest that was made from human skin, and they asked if I could somehow fix it.
Oh.
And I was like,
I'm out of human skin.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm not. I'm good. I don't want to do that.
Like,
It's a really, you need a really thick sewing needle, I'm sure.
oh yeah.
Some Buffalo
Actually,
Bill.
no, human skin is once it's tanned right, you can sew through it with just a normal, like, darning needle or a leather needle.
Ooh,
how quaint.
good to know. well, now I know what to do with all that extra skin I have in the closet.
We're gonna embroider "Live, Laugh, Love" on
Live, laugh, love.
on a nice piece of human flesh.
Yes, we'll make it a nice kitchen.
Your chair and lamp.
Your
Oh,
chair
that's
and
all
lamp,
fancy.
yes. Like, oh, it matches. It goes with the decor.
You know, I was on your Instagram and I really got a kick out of the Brooke Shields styling head.
She was one of the hardest to find styling heads. I've been searching for her for probably 15 years. As soon as I found out that she existed, and there's one randomly showed up on eBay, and the person had her for like this ridiculous price because she's worth quite a bit. But I became friends with them. I talked to them, and they knocked her down quite a bit. I'm like, oh, thank you. And she was never ever open.
Oh, so that is like something coveted that's
Top dollar.
beyond coveted because it's like pristine, never touched or messed with.
Now, I have a question for you, Josh. If I was to tell you that I had a Danbury Mint Shirley Temple doll
I feel like mint is involved. It's worth
In-
nothing.
in the with
I'm sorry. I'll let you go.
in the trunk with all of her clothing, every outfit, how much do you think I could get for
Oh,
it?
the costume, Shirley.
Yes.
I love Josh.
Yeah, that
He
one
knows.
came out in 88 to 1901.
How much
I
do you
remember
think I
very
can
clearly.
get for it?
The doll by herself, probably $40 to $50.
Aw.
Well, now keep
I had
in
a
mind
feeling that was coming.
the outfits are worth more than the doll.
Oh.
Ooh, sure.
There are collectors who have the original Shirley Temple dolls from the 30s, and she's an 18-inch. The one you have is an 18.5-inch doll, and her outfits fit the 18 to 20-inch Shirley dolls from the time period, from the original time period, because the original Shirley. And so your outfits, depending if they're in the packaging, if they still have the tissue paper wrap on, you can sell the outfits anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on the outfit and what movie it's from and whatnot.
Now, what if they're not in the original box?
Then you're
If they're not in the
garbage.
original box, and if they're clean and they have all the accessories with them and everything, you could still get between $20 to $45 per outfit, depending on the person.
That's good to
They only
know.
have value if someone's willing to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I said about my firstborn child. Just kidding.
That was another
I don't have children. I'm kidding.
another gift from grandma over the years, and you know, she always added to I was a Shirley Temple fan. Don't look at me like that, Mark.
No, I'm not looking
I
at
was
it.
a-
Shirley Temple dolls, they usually, unless it's like the newer stuff, all Shirley Temple things usually still hold their value very, very well.
I was
because
a fan of hers.
Josh,
she was such a wonderful
She
woman.
was such an icon. I love her. And my every Christmas and birthday, like my grandma always added an outfit to the doll.
that's really cute, though. But see, it's
with
memorable.
the movie.
It's,
With the movie too. I got the movie and the dress.
but you know what? See, it's memorable things like that where I feel like kind of similar to like Josh's story earlier. Now, like you may not have been particularly close to your grandmother, or like this may not apply to everybody, but a lot of people have these specific, maybe nice things that are associated with,
absolutely.
you know, certain items. And that's where the value comes into play. So, I mean, eBay may not appreciate Shirley Temple as much as you thought, but you might have more value in her,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know.
Yeah. eBay's tricky. Like I have a love-hate. Like I do not sell on eBay because they're evil. I sell on an app called Mercari.
Oh
I hate
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys.
I know. And I feel like real, like the authentic, like legit collectors sell on things that aren't eBay.
Yeah.
You know, like I have to say, Facebook Marketplace is my jam for so many different things.
Oh, I love Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did
See,
we have an episode about Facebook Marketplace objects that were bizarre that we came across, and you would love it.
oh yeah. I mean,
I can't wait for that one.
Oh,
I
I
love
almost,
it.
I was trying to buy a doll on Facebook Marketplace last year. Somebody here local made. I wish I saved the picture. They made a handmade Steve Buscemi doll.
Oh,
my
stop
God,
it right
stop.
now.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
I wanted to. They're like $20. I'm like, yes. And I contacted them for a week, and they were like, oh, we can meet tomorrow. We can meet tomorrow. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And I wanted that thing so bad because, like, do you remember those old Bugs Bunny cartoons when he would meet that mad professor and he had the bug eyes? It looked just like that.
Oh my God, stop.
And I'm like, I need that.
That's
I
so
need
good.
it. The creepier the better.
You know, Josh, what I would like, and I mean, of course, if you don't mind, but could you like, I guess, maybe explain to our listeners, because I'm sure there's plenty of people listening who are collectors or have, you know, a certain passion about something that like would like to know, where did your personal, I guess, passion come from? Or do you know the origins of, you know, why this is so important to you and, you know, pursuing this as, you know, work and, you know, your own collection and all of that?
For me, well, honestly, it started like I said, I've always had them, but what really got me into it, like when I was really little, is I love fashion and I love clothes. My favorite movie of all time is Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
I love the story, but more than anything, I love the gowns.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
There you go.
Big gowns. And I saw that when I was a little kid, and I've read the book probably 10 or 11 times in my life. I absolutely love it. That got me going. I saw the movie when I was like 8 or 9, fell in love. But that started me. But on top of all that, I don't know if you ever heard of this movie. It's called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
That also got me started. When I saw Dolly Parton come down the stairs in that black sequin gown, like the gating popped in, and I was just like, oh, I died. And I begged my mom. Every time we went shopping at this local toy store that used to be here called King Norman's, I would look for gowns that looked like that for my dolls, and they never had anything. And so my mom, who she used to sew all the time, and we would go to I would go with her to the fabric store, and she would buy the patterns, and then we'd sit around and we'd make doll clothes.
Oh, so sweet.
That's beautiful.
And I would want like big gowns.
Like make it more dramatic, Mom.
Yeah. And every one of my dolls, if they didn't have a ball gown, they had some sort of cape with a hood.
Yes.
And
I love it.
I just I always think of the Carol Burnett episode when she does the spoof on Gone with the Wind, and you know when
the wind done gone.
Yeah, where she makes the dress with the curtains, but she still has the curtain rod like in the back.
Oh, I love Did you watch Drag Race this week? The drag queen Utica did a nod to Carol Burnett's Gone with the Wind dress.
Really? I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh my God, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen this season yet.
She has the curtain rod and everything.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you used to sit there. I know, they're so fun, right? So you used to sit there, your mom would make them, and you would want them to be bigger, more dramatic, glamorous.
More couture.
Yes, more drama.
Rhinestones, the tackier, the better. And then like my dream came true when I can't remember how old I was, but I found in a thrift store an actual Dolly Parton doll from the 70s.
Oh,
and I had my mom's like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to make that. I never got she never made the gowns that I wanted because it was too expensive, but I still have that doll, and that doll she couldn't be made today because she'd be vulgar, but
well, that's why she should be made.
Exactly. She had this teeny tiny waist and just gigantic boobs, and I was like, I love this doll. She's so I love celebrity dolls anyway. They're always either dead on or tragic as all get out.
Josh, has anyone made an Anna Nicole doll?
there was a prototype done right after, well, not right after, but like a year after she died. There was a prototype done by Danbury Mint. There was only one made.
Oh.
And they were going to make her, but then they pulled back on it because she was too controversial and too sexual. So they're like, we're not going to do her. They were going to do, she was pretty too. I've seen pictures of her. They didn't do it mean. They didn't do like when she was heavier set. They did it like early in Anna Nicole.
Or like guest stays.
Guest modeling. Yeah.
Yes, Danbury Mint. I see you.
And she was really pretty. She was going to be 21 inches tall, porcelain, head-handed, full breastplate, and a soft core, but they didn't do it. There's so many prototype celebrity dolls that were never made, like the Kardashians and everything.
Wow. Now, like, okay, so if there was one doll that hasn't been made, that's like a prototype, and I mean, granted, like there are plenty of things where if I could get on like a prototype of it and I had the money to acquire such, I would. But if there was one that hasn't been made that you would love to own, that you know is out there, which one would it be?
Oh, that would be the most valuable celebrity doll in the world, and that is the one-of-a-kind prototype Mary Pickford doll.
Mary Pickford?
I don't know if you know who Mary Pickford
Who is that?
The name is so familiar, and I feel stupid not knowing. But
she was a silent movie actress. Her and Charlie Chaplin created the United Artists Association.
Oh, okay.
And she was called America's Sweetheart, even though she was British.
Well, you know what's so funny? I just learned like a year or two ago that Charlie Chaplin was British, but I guess I wouldn't know that because he was a silent movie actor.
Well,
he did a few talkies, but they got him in trouble. He did one talkie and it got him in trouble, got him kicked out of America.
Oh, problematic, huh?
Well, he did it as a protest because Charlie Chaplin was Jewish on top of being British. And he did a movie called The Great Dictator where he was flat out making fun of Adolf Hitler.
Oh, yes.
And our government's like, no, he's a sympathizer. He's with Hitler.
Oh, okay.
And so they ran him up the flagpole, and he truly loved this country. And we kicked him out. And he was only allowed back into our country in the late 70s when they gave him an honorary Academy Award. And when he was rolled up to get his Academy Award, he got a 5-minute standing ovation.
Wow. That's incredible. I mean, what a crazy experience that must have been. I mean,
and they had dolls of him and everything too.
Wow. Is okay, now this is like macabre, but like, are like murderers or like murder victim dolls, like, is that a thing? Like, does that exist? Is there like a
Charles Manson doll?
Yeah,
there are, but they're not like sold, and you have to seek them out because they're usually like craft dolls or artist dolls. But I've seen I've seen Charles Manson like stuffed dolls. I've seen a John Wayne Gacy porcelain doll.
Oh my
wow.
God, that's got to be terrifying.
Some dark web stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the doll of Charles Manson looked more cartoony.
I would imagine
so. He wasn't so scary. But the John Wayne Gacy doll, that was terrifying.
Oh my God, I know. Well,
his head would turn around. He looked like a normal clown. He looked like him in full like clown drag, and then you turn a head around, and he had this sinister smile, and you could put a magnetic knife in his hand.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh
my God, that is terrifying.
That's kind of cool.
I know, it's kind of awesome. I love how creative people are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I've seen like the most disturbing one I've ever seen, and it was a doll diorama, and it was at a doll convention years and years ago in LA, and they actually had to take it off of to being displayed because people were so offended. Someone made a diorama of the Tate murders.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
See, I knew Josh would know this. Oh my God.
And I saw it and I was like, this is interesting. I'm like, creative, dark.
Yeah.
Like we're at a doll convention, like this big diorama is right next to like a baby doll, and then there's like blood and gore. And whoever made it was very, very detail oriented.
Wow.
And I was like,
You're like,
they got
oh.
the intestines
Wow.
and everything.
You're like, wow, is that Sharon's actual? Did they do the baby? Oh, wow. Okay.
They did.
Oh, stop it! They
And
did.
ouch.
They used the pregnant Midge doll to make her.
Oh,
stop
Oh my
it.
God.
I'm like, that's just tasteless.
I wish
I'm like,
I could see this.
Oh.
Well, okay.
I'm kind of a dumpster fire when it comes to being creepy, but that's too much.
You're like, that's another level. You were like, even like, I'm judging this right now. So, well, that kind of like reminds me of this thing. And I know we're going in a lot of different places, but it stays in the dark category. Like, I think back in the day, before they would do like I guess the murder scene investigations that they do today, they would create dioramas.
Right.
And they would, and they would use figures. And I know our beloved, our Jesus, John Waters, he narrated a documentary about it. I think it was called Of Dolls and Murder. And it was really good.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
I've seen in San Francisco, I live pretty close to there.
Mm-hmm.
They had, I forget the name of the woman, but it was like in the 1930s or 40s.
Mm-hmm.
She made dollhouse dioramas of murder, of like crime scenes and murders.
Yeah, to help people solve them, right? Or something like
to help
that?
solve them. And they did a traveling display of them, and they came to San Francisco a long time ago, and I got to see them in person. And
That is so
they had,
cool.
they had a description of everything. I was like, this is so cool.
That is amazing. I love
This is
it.
so weird. I love it.
Wow. You're so cool, Josh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do a million episodes with you, really.
Well, the weird thing is I always tell people, like, all things can be linked back to dolls in some way, shape, or form. Dolls have been around for, over 3,000 years. The oldest doll known in history, it was found in some cave somewhere, I think in a Mayan cave or something. And they qualify her as a doll because the doll had moving parts but no facial features.
Whoa.
But, all things can be linked back to them, from celebrities to pop culture to even murder things.
Yeah.
Like even people you'd never think had dolls like O.J. Simpson. He had an official O.J. Simpson doll.
Oh my God. Did he have the little gloves? I hope. He must have.
No, it was before the murders. It was
never mind.
O.J. Simpson.
Oh God. See, I go right for the awful things. I'm sorry, Josh.
We have like
I've
two.
seen people turn the O.J. Simpson doll into the killer O.J.
Oh, okay. There we go. See, I wasn't
So
too
it's
far off.
fine.
Thank you. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite dolls that I've still been looking for is a Lizzie Borden doll.
Oh my God. I wish her house went up for sale not too long ago.
Really?
Both of her houses are up for sale right now.
Both of them? Oh, she was in a
She
mogul.
wow.
Oh my God.
She had
Life's
her
rough.
original house, the murder house, and then she had one called Mycroft.
Oh.
And that was after her parents were allegedly murdered by her, and that's where after she changed her name, that's where she lived. Same town, but she changed her name, lived there, and she died in that house.
That's where she spent her inheritance money. Good for her.
Josh.
Her half of the money.
Well, she had a sister, right? Or
Yeah, her sister moved after the trial, and she never saw her sister again.
Oh.
Well, I hope she didn't end up dead like the parents. But
I mean, even the Queen Elizabeth, the ship over and docked in Long Beach, that's for sale now.
Oh my God.
The original owners, they filed for bankruptcy, and they're putting it up for sale.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that so much. I'm always very disappointed when I see that all these murder houses get knocked down. But, I guess, I don't know, salt of the earth, blah, 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 something like that. I don't know these things.
I went to high school. I don't know if it reached the news all the way over there. But years ago, have you ever heard of the Lacey Peterson murders?
Of course. Oh my goodness, yes.
That happened right here in my town. I went to high school with her, and I lived about 2 blocks away from her.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it.
Oh,
Josh.
Did
you
you
just
personally know her?
signed yourself up for another episode of Bizarre
Oh my
Buffet.
God. Don't give our
I
listeners
went to
all
high
of
school
that.
with her. she was a bully. Honestly, she was a bully. She picked on me. All
Stop.
Oh, she had it coming.
Oh, my-
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Oh my God, salacious.
My words,
I've had
not
people say
yours.
that. I've had people say that, like, "Are you glad she's dead?" I'm like, "No, I'm not glad. The way he did it was horrible."
Like-
Oh
It
yeah.
It could have been more humane.
yeah.
Oh
And
my.
the house still stands. Like the current owners, they renovated it, and now you can Airbnb it and do like
Oh my
paranormal investigations
God.
there and stuff.
Okay, if we come into town, we're gonna do a live recording. Josh is coming over
Yeah.
live from the Lacey Peterson house. I love it.
Oh, that would be fun.
Right? Oh my God. Well, Josh, listen, you have been such a delight, truly. I have enjoyed every minute of talking to you. I want to have
Yes.
9,000 more episodes with you if you'll have it. We don't have a budget yet, but in the future,
Yeah, Josh, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
yeah, you're a really, really cool person. And we would like everyone to, follow Josh. He's a fascinating individual. He has a great collection. And yeah.
If he has any questions or wants any help with dolls, I'm always happy to help. I try to help people. If they can't afford it, I just help them out and tell them what they need to do. So,
All right. Very cool. So if you need something restored, perhaps, or, if you're looking for some advice, Josh is most definitely your guy to get in touch with. I would absolutely entrust him. Josh, what's your Instagram handle again for everybody?
it's my full name, Josh Matthews, 3867.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Josh. And we hope to have you on in the near future to talk about more fun things.
Oh, I would love to.
Oh, thank you for your time.
Bye,
Thank
Josh.
you for having me.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody.
Wow.
So, what a great.
He's a gem.
Oh
He
my
is.
God.
And I can't wait for the Lacey Peter episode.
The Lacey Peterson episode. Oh my God.
He's Bizarre Buffet royalty.
He is.
Oh my goodness. He's
Absolutely.
Him and Kyle Coons.
Yes.
Oh my
Have
God.
my heart
Halloween.
forever.
Josh
And Hollow
Matthews
Eve.
and Kyle
Oh my
Coons,
God.
Hollow Eve. That's how you do it.
That's why I
everybody.
love doing this show with you guys, because we can interact with like some of the coolest people.
I know, and that,
yeah.
and that's it. We love having people on who have a passion, a love, a desire. And that's part of what makes this so great, is that we get to have these people
Exactly.
on and embrace them and talk about it. And be
And we're
like,
still looking for an adult baby.
we are still
Yeah,
looking
Jesus
for an
Christ.
adult
It's
baby.
like the holy
Can
grail.
someone
Oh my
just
God.
fucking get us an adult baby?
Yeah, I know. We are been waiting. We will give you a moment, a platform to speak. We'll ask you real questions. My God. But any hoodle, everybody. Well, kids, here we go. Sit down. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Follow us on Instagram at Bizarre
Follow us.
Buffet.
And Jen, what's our Facebook page?
Bizarre Buffet.
Bizarre Buffet.
And what's our Patreon?
It's patreon.com/Bizarre Buffet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you can find us. You can find all of the beautiful packages with Jen Wilson being the third package. It's not a date, but it's a photo, a glamour shot of
It's
her.
a glamour shot. We still don't know what the pose will be, but it will be a glamour shot.
It will be a glamour shot. And, in the meantime, my name is Susan Sarandon.
And I'm Vivica A. Fox.
Oh.
And I'm Lacey Peterson.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for listening to Bizarre
Thanks
Buffet.
for listening. Goodbye.